everyone. It's great to be here today, and it's been a long time coming. First, I want to start out by thanking everyone today because this effort would not be possible with many other people who are sitting in here today and are online. And so for that, I send a sincere thank you. I might have to do away with this mask, y'all. Over the last 20 years, we've seen criminal justice fines and fees increase substantially. And in parallel to that, we've seen the number of driver's license suspensions increase. And it has impacted people's opportunity to get housing and employment and other opportunities. And to address this, Durham was the first jurisdiction that decided to take on district attorney initiated a mass debt relief project to end driver's license suspension for long-term traffic debt. And since then, over the last 2 years, through work of a very mass coalition of different organizations, we've been able to eliminate debt for more than 11,000 people. That's now 11,000 people who are closer to getting their driver's license back, closer to getting that opportunity that they were previously shut out of. After this session today, we will continue to work on ending criminal justice debt in North Carolina. The next step that we're hoping that Durham County would take would use the administration of the court form 415 to do ability to pay assessments and have a pilot program to do ability to pay assessments at sentencing so that we don't have another backlog of 15,000 cases. And with that, I want to again thank everyone for being here today, and thank you for your efforts in making this program be as successful as it was. And with that, I will pass it off to Mayor Schewel. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Holland, and for all that you all have done. Thank you, Your Honor. I was here the first day when you remitted the very first ones, and it's great to be back in your court. I am blown away with the success of the DEER program in helping thousands of people be able to get their driver's licenses back. Making the city we love a city for all means making the city we love a city of second chances. And the DEER program, with the DEER program we're witnessing today, is part of the way that we can make Durham a city of second chances. I want to say how proud I am that the Defender Aid and Restoration Program, DEER, was born out of the work of the City of Durham's innovation team. The city invested $250,000 to create the DEER program and to support the creation of the incredible partnerships that we have seen come to fruition today. Prior to the creation of DEER, our community was able to provide free legal assistance of this sort for just very few people. And as a result, thousands of people who lived in low-income households, mostly Black and Latinx neighbors, suffered worse consequences for longer periods of time than others who were charged with similar traffic offenses. How much longer? As you see today, there are over 11,000 people in Durham with a suspended license due to unpaid traffic tickets that are, on the average, 16 years old. And that is not and cannot be justice. As a result, DEER, and this is truly worthy of our celebration, over 50,000 traffic charges dating back to the 80s, but still leading to driver's license suspensions have been dismissed. 50,000 charges dismissed for over 35,000 people. That's amazing. And now today, we celebrate further the waiving of $2.7 million in fines and fees for 11,000 of our residents. This is transformative for the lives of these residents. And for those people who fear maybe we're making the roads less safe or undermining our system of law and order, I want to ease your concerns. DWIs and dozens of other more serious traffic offenses are ineligible for this program. The reality is that those charges make up a very small portion of license suspensions. Our roads are safer when people can drive legally and be insured. Our work is also entirely consistent with holding people accountable for their actions. Everyone who is benefiting from the DEER program has paid a very steep price. They have lost their license for at least 2 years or they have served time in prison. To be a city of second chances, there must be an expiration date on what it means to hold someone accountable. And that is what we are seeing today, an expiration date on injustice. DEAR is fueled by collaboration, is a living testament to the fact that we're able to accomplish bigger things for our community when we come together. And we have a lot of people to thank. I want to thank our DA, Satana Deberry, who's done such a great job and has been so committed to this program. Thank you so much, Madam DA. Assistant DA Dale Marl and her dedicated team, Judges Amanda Maris, Josephine Davis, and for their leadership to help launch DEAR and co-chairing the advisory board, Judge Reinhardt, Judge Hall, Judge Evans, Judge Jones, among others who have supported this important local effort from the bench, Don Baxton in our Public Defender's Office, Clerk Archie Smith and his entire team for all the behind-the-scenes work to process thousands of cases, Daniel Bowes, Laura Holland, many others from North Carolina Justice Center who've been with us every step of the way and have played a major leadership role in this effort, Gina Reyman, and many others from Legal Aid who are now the home of DEAR and doing such amazing work statewide to help spread DEAR's model, which is super exciting. Your team has also played a crucial role in staffing DEAR. The volunteers at Code the Dream and Code for Durham who have helped us leverage technology to advance this work at scale and whose efforts are now supporting wider statewide initiatives, we thank you. The many people and organizations who make up the heart of DEAR, its amazing advisory board, including not only those I've already mentioned, but Sylvia and Leigh from the North Carolina Pro Bono Resource Center, Dion Gonder from NCCU Law School, Stella Boswell from Duke Law School, and the Durham Bar and the George H. White Bar, the Criminal Justice Resource Centers, and many others. And I want to thank city staff who have contributed significantly to this effort, including Kim Rayberg of the City Attorney's and the others from the City's Attorney's Office. And I especially want to thank Ryan Smith and the members of the innovation team. We all know that Ryan has been the glue that has held this project together and has done an amazing job in leading it and coaxing along and finding a way through all the difficulties. So it's just been a wonderful collective effort, and it's just in a time that has been a very difficult time. Isn't it awesome to come together to celebrate something truly happy? It's really a wonderful gift to be able to do this today. And now I want to introduce our fabulous DA, Satana Deberry, to offer her remarks.
Thank you, Mayor Schewel. I am always too short for this podium, so I hope y'all can see me over it. First, I want to thank my team, our traffic team lead, Assistant District Attorney Dale Morrow, and Stephen McLaughlin and Iris Morales, who I have done 2 sessions, they have done 31. So they are the real heroes in the courtroom in this case. These cases, the even bigger heroes in the courtroom and at their desk putting all this in the computer are the clerks. I want to thank them. We could do nothing without you. So thank you very much for all your hard work in doing this. And certainly thank you to Honorable Archie Smith for supporting this effort. Just quickly, some stats on where we are. You've heard them before, but they're worth repeating. As of today, this program will have waived $2.7 million in unpaid fines and fees. 11,084 individuals have been helped, 33 court sessions, 14,629 cases. And the average age of these cases is 16 years. All of those suspensions were at least 2 years old. Some were as old as 30 years old. To give you some, I say this all the time, to give you some example of how old those cases are. I think the oldest case in which we have remitted costs and fees was from 1985. In 1985, I was in the 10th grade. I am nobody's 10th grader, you can tell from my hair. I want to thank the city of Durham. Ryan is sitting in the back, but really he should be up front here because Ryan is the grease that has made everything run smoothly. Without him, we would not be connected to our partners, both here and across the state. We're proud to say that we are leading the state, even though Mecklenburg finished their cases before we did. We started first. And through the hard work of Ryan and the innovation team, we learned that 1 in 5 Durham adults had a suspended license due to a failure to pay or a failure to appear. The vast majority of those were people of color, about 80%. And their suspensions were tied to minor offenses, as the mayor mentioned. Things like driving without a license and expired registration that get worse and are very much tied to their inability to pay. License suspensions impact access to jobs, education, health care. Often we find that the city found that when it looked at its job bank, 65% of city jobs require that you have a valid North Carolina driver's license. Collections data from the state, in case you wonder, are we taking money from the state of North Carolina? No. Collections data shows that if these fines and fees are not paid in the first 2 years, they're unlikely to be paid. DEER proactively extends this mass relief, and this means we've taken the burden off of our local residents to try to figure this out alone. This also means that many people who've had debt waived and may not be aware. So we encourage everyone to go to secondchanceDriving.org to see if they've already been helped. And if they haven't, we're not finished. DEER continues to do this work and will continue to provide free assistance with license suspensions and expunctions. The DEER attorneys and their community partners have filed nearly 2,000 expunction petitions in Durham County since 2018. The mayor mentioned the 50,000 old charges that were tied to more than 30,000 active license suspensions. That is separate from the DEER program. That is a program that was initiated out of the DA's office, and we have Judge Josephine Kerr to thank for that, Carr Davis to thank for that, because she started that when she was in the district attorney's office. And finally, we have too many partners to mention, but I will try. The City of Durham, Durham County Criminal Justice Resource Center, Legal Aid of North Carolina Justice Center, Duke Law School, North Carolina Central University School of Law, the North Carolina Pro Bono Resource Center, North Carolina Equal Access to Justice Commission, Southern Coalition for Social Justice, Bloomberg Philanthropies, the Center for Racial Justice Innovation, Code for Durham, the judges, and the clerks. And I will end by saying, if you want to go quickly, go by yourself. If you want to go far, go together. And I think, who is next after me?
That would be Judge Mayor.
Judge Mayor.
Your Honor. Good afternoon, everybody. It does feel a little strange to be at the podiums. I'm used to be sitting up there. I don't have any prepared statements because, frankly, when I speak from my heart, that is when I speak best. And so we will see if that's the case. But the DEER program is near and dear to my heart, and it always has been. This program began, Madam DA alluded to the fact that Judge Davis, as a DA, was responsible for beginning the fledgling project with the City of Durham that grew into a marriage between the expunction program that we were working on, that I was leading on, into one program that could work together, Durham Expunction and Restoration Program. And the reason we brought these two ideas together was because they accomplish the same things. Maybe not literally in the courtroom, but what they do is they allow people to have opportunities that they wouldn't otherwise have due to legal barriers that are essentially unfair and unjust. That's been laid out already through the statistics. When you hear that the average time that these fines have been on someone's driving record is 16 years, and when you couple that with the knowledge that if you have an unpaid traffic ticket, you're not driving. You cannot drive by law in North Carolina. So surely, if you had the money to pay off that ticket, you would do it in 16 years. Now, some of these fines were not in place for 16 years. It was a minimum requirement of 2 years in order to qualify for the program, and not to have other certain offenses on your traffic record that were mentioned earlier by our mayor. And so, by and large, all of the people, the thousands of people, I think I heard over 11,000 people that were helped here in Durham to get into a position to have the same access as other people that have the funds to employment, to housing, to all the privileges that come with being a part of society. And so everyone in this room, frankly, should be standing up and has been an essential part of this program. But I do want to give special attention to our mayor in the city of Durham, along with Ryan Smith, because without the support of the city of Durham, none of this would have happened. The city of Durham is the entity that initially funded this, has been funding it for 2 years, and it is only possible because of the city of Durham that our staff and all the partners who volunteered could come together. Now let me also say the other important piece about the DEAR program. In the now almost 15 years that I've been a part of the court system, either as a judge or a public defender, what I did before becoming a judge in 2017, I have never seen anything like this. I mean, there is nothing like this. Durham, yes, Durham was the first jurisdiction to do this work in the state, quite possibly in the country. And you don't see this kind of transformative work done in a court system without all of these people. You can't do it alone, just as Madam Deberry said. And so I just want to emphasize that if we want to see the kind of work in our court systems that we all dream about happening, it's going to take innovative, broad partnerships. It's going to take traditional court actors and people who may not have seen their jobs as entailing this type of work to do it. Because if we want a court system that is going to say, hey, when people come into this building, court systems across this country, some folks don't have a first chance. We talk about second chances, but to me, if you can have something on your traffic record for 16 years, maybe it's $180, some of these fees and fines were $90. Every year our court costs go up, and they're not paid, they don't have a license. And if that's happening to people in this country, then we have a problem where we don't have first chances for people to come in our courtrooms. So it has taken programs like this, and everybody in this room, and so many people that are on Facebook that aren't here. Most of the partners were mentioned today. We also have had folks from All of Us or None in our community that have participated, that have done outreach to reach people, to build trust in this program so that people in the community would want to participate. We have had Forward Justice, and Whitley Carpenter for Forward Justice has participated. I think that almost everyone has been mentioned except for the names of all our staff from DEAR that I know Gina Reyman will address in a moment. But Lauren Robbins is sitting right here in the front, and Lauren has been the legal assistant for the program on the courthouse 6th floor, right here, every day, welcoming people from the courtrooms before coronavirus and helping guide them through the process and sitting there and giving them that personal attention and support that people need to trust that a program supported by the court actually cares about them. And that's exactly what this program does. So, in closing, I want to say that I couldn't be happier that the program has reached the place that it has today. It is no small accomplishment that this has happened. It is probably unprecedented. And so I hope that everybody in this room recognizes that without each of you, and Madam Clerk, you have slaved away at the paperwork for all of these. And so I just want to take a moment to clap for our clerks. Can we please thank our clerks for the work that they've done? Thank you so much, everyone. I look forward to hearing from everybody else. John.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Judge Mayor. So now we will hear reflections from Gina Reyman, Manager, Attorney, and Legal Aid in North Carolina. You want to come on down? Did you want to come? Your Honor, I apologize. You know what? I can't wait. Let me call on the Honorable Archie Smith, Clerk of Court.
Well, thank you, Judge Reinhardt. I saw your name in a solitary slot on a piece of paper this past weekend, which tells me that I'm going to be seeing your face for many years to come. And thank you for serving and for being there today. Thank you.
No, thank you, Mrs. Smith.
I began practicing law in Durham in 1976. And over the course of those years, I have seen proposals and programs proposed and undertaken. I have also seen a great number of those programs die from lack of inertia, lack of attention, lack of nurturing, simply because it was work. It was work. It was hard. And I had a bright-eyed adventuresome young judge proposed this thing about the deer program. Now, I had known this person as being a member of the public defender staff, correct? But I didn't know what I was really seeing when I saw that email cross my desk. And so, having heard things and seen things, as a number of us have that have been in Durham a long time, we've seen some things that we'd like to see happen, but they didn't quite make it. But I didn't, at that point in time, know just who I was dealing with. From Judge Jones to Amanda Maris, some determination showed itself. Some stick-to-itiveness showed itself and stuck with it and stayed with it and pushed and shoved and put their shoulders to the stone and gathered our whole community, from the judges, to the city, to the county, to outside agencies, and made this program happen. Without the DAs, without the clerks, without the other agencies, without folks taking these thousands upon thousands upon thousands of cases. Now, I'd like to give you all a perspective about this. A case is not a case on a computer screen. In most of these cases, each one of them comprised a piece of paper, a shuck. And every one of these had to be handled by hand. And rather than just say, here, clerk's office, take it and do it, the DEAR program undertook to find the resources to make it possible for the clerk's office to undertake its daily duties, that it has to take care of everything in this court, the records, the court files, so on and so forth, and to take this additional duty on and help us. The DEAR program helped the clerk's office provide the necessary resources that had to be there to do this work. The DEAR program, Ryan Smith, as a leader, moved quietly, politely, courteously throughout all of this. Everywhere there was a squeak in a wheel, he greased it. Anywhere there was a need to have something bolstered, he bolstered it and made this happen. Because every one of these cases, when we hear that tremendous number, understand each case represents a separate number that has to be entered in computer systems. The cases have to be handled. But the resources were provided. These folks didn't just say, here, we want to do this, handle it. They saw to it it could be handled. It gave the clerk's office the resources it needed to make that happen. But there's a further ripple effect that this has. This was the right thing to do. You can never go wrong doing the right thing for the right reasons. In my mind's eye, I picture how many folks now are not only able to drive legally, but if they should have a moment's blip and get involved in a fender bender, and some vehicle is damaged, or possibly, I hope not, someone injured. How many folks now have legitimate automobile insurance that can drive their vehicles safely on the roads of Durham County and throughout this state? Why? Because they had and have a legitimate license, that they can procure insurance, that they can become responsible citizens, and that they can undertake to go about their jobs, to run the errands and do the things, to go to and from work, to pick up their children, to go to the grocery store, to do all of the things that before they had to do under cover of darkness, so to speak. Now they can appear in the light and live and enjoy the kind of life that they would not have been able to enjoy but for this program. This program reaches further than just driver's license. It reaches to the core of our society, because in our society we are a mobile society and we must have transportation. In these folks' cases, what it means is that anytime they see a police car, they do not have to go like this. They can sit at the wheel of their car and drive it safely and do the things they need to do for their families, for their jobs, for their community, and for themselves, and they can do it honestly and uprightly, because some determined people made up their minds that this was the right thing to do, and then turned around and put their shoulder to the wheel and did it. Durham leads like that. This is not the first time Durham has led like that. Years ago, we did not have enough clerks. What did Durham do? My community, the one I grew up in, saw to it that contracts were written and that we had additional clerks. That's Durham spirit. That's Durham spirit. I am looking right now, across the state, there's early notification to folks to come to court. Why? Because our Criminal Justice Resource Center set up court reminders. How was that undertaken? Through the MacArthur Foundation and through Durham agencies. That is Durham. Durham is a leader in compassion, in humanity, and the things that make a community a community. And I am so proud and so glad to be a member of this community and to be able to be with y'all here today. Thank y'all so much. And Judge Maris, Ryan, I'm singling y'all out. There are a lot of folks here, but I know from those emails and to the wheel where to look. And I want to thank you so much for what you've done. Appreciate it, folks.
Now we get to hear from Gina Reyman.
Yeah, well, I didn't really want to have to follow the Honorable Mr. Smith, but here I am. Legal Aid is proud to be here to congratulate, the District Attorney's Office under the leadership of District Attorney Deberry and also the DEER program as a whole for this milestone. It's a great day. We've been talking about it at every meeting for the last several years, so I'm happy to still be standing here today and celebrating. And I am really proud of this community effort to make sure that financial barriers get removed for people who really do need to drive to a job or drive to take their child to child care. I mean, it's a small thing and most of us take it for granted, but it's really important. And I do want to really, I want to shout out Laura Holland, who I know has really been a force of nature and a rock that kind of kept us guided through this. And then, as Judge Maris said, I do want to give a minute to Lauren Robbins, who is an outstanding, and I want to applaud Lauren is our paralegal who has really, again, been a steady influence at the DEER office. She's worked in there, lawyers spinning around her, volunteers spinning around her, and people keep coming, and Lauren just keeps seeing people, and she is such a kind spirit and a professional advocate for people, and we really do appreciate your work. And I did want to also recognize those who, other lawyers who have really dedicated themselves, including DJ Dorr, who's here today, Jessica Luong, Jasmine Griffin, who have been our attorneys this year, and also Joseph Laser, who worked hard on this project over the last couple of years. So thank you all, legal aid people, for your hard work. This DEER collaboration has been something like I've never seen before. I've worked with volunteer attorneys, never worked with this big of a collaboration. This program won the Durham Bar Association's Collaborative Pro Bono Project of the Year for just really, I knew we were going to win when we were nominated because there's no other program that I've ever seen like it. It took more than, it took more than volunteers. It took the system to come forward. The clerks, Durham County donated space. It just took everybody in the system itself, which I really, again, applaud that. This is one of the finest groups of folks that I've worked with from the court system itself. And the leadership of the judges. Every single judge that works in Durham has been a leader. Josephine Carr Davis and Judge Maris especially, I will shout out to say I have really appreciated your leadership, and I know how long both of you have really wanted to just see a program like this, and so I'm secretly very excited and applauding for your efforts for all these years that you've been working toward this result today. And although we've reached a milestone, I did want to say DEER is continuing to operate. We're trying to get help for people who could benefit from the Second Chance Act. We're already working with the Justice Center to set up work. We're collaborating again with the DAs and the Public Defender's Office to try to see that more people are helped. So we're very excited about the work ahead as well as the milestone that we've just reached. And even with our community, even with all the collaboration, this work would not be possible without Mayor Schewel, the City Council, the City of Durham, who really, had a vision of how this program could work. And I thank you, Mr. Mayor, for your support of this program. You not only had the vision, but then you made it happen, and it's really made a big difference in Durham. So my thank you for that. And also, and I will end by saying I want to shout out also to Ryan Smith, who everybody knows that Ryan's pretty smart, but he led this project with more than smarts, with hope. And I really do appreciate that, and it's lovely to work with people like that. So thank you all very much.
All right, next we'll hear from Leigh and Claire.
Thank you, Your Honor. On behalf of the North Carolina Pro Bono Resource Center and the Equal Access to Justice Commission, it has been a real honor to be a part of this collaboration and to witness the innovative strategy that Durham and the DEAR program have created. What Durham has built through District Attorney-led mass relief has really become a model across the state. And mass relief is an important strategy in license restoration, and thus an important strategy for strengthening communities, strengthening the economy, and ensuring or moving towards a North Carolina in which every person can take care of their family. I just want to mention very briefly that on Wednesday at 9 a.m. we are going to be presenting this strategy to the Conference of DAs via Zoom. And so if there are district attorneys out there listening, if you could please join us, learn more about what Durham has accomplished, and hopefully learn how to bring this type of license restoration to your jurisdiction and follow Durham's powerful lead. So thank you all for letting us be a part of this.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Stella Boswell.
Hello, I'm Stella Boswell, and I'm the Dean of Public Interest and Pro Bono at Duke Law School. And this has been a special project for our students to participate in. And this ceremony falls at a great time because it's National Pro Bono Celebration Week. So we couldn't have timed that any better. After DEAR reached out to us when this was in its infancy, Duke formed our Fair Chance Project. And we're using this project and others today to highlight to our entire first-year class the importance of pro bono partnerships. And this effort demonstrates a very high-level partnership between so many different actors: the court system and elected officials, nonprofits focused on pro bono service, the private bar, and our local law schools. We've so appreciated that this program, particularly with supervision from the legal aid lawyers, DEAR lawyers, and the North Carolina Justice Center, has taught our students more than just how to review a traffic record and how to advise a client, but more importantly has demonstrated that our system needs to ensure that the lack of ability to pay, either for an attorney or for fines and fees, should not become an insurmountable or unfair barrier. The training demonstrated to students the unfair cycle that citizens can end up in, and the project demonstrated what happens when we all come together to solve a problem. On behalf of our Fair Chance Project, I want to thank everyone for allowing us to take part. I certainly hope that our students go on throughout their careers and use this as a model for what they can accomplish when they come together. Thank you.
All right, we'll hear some closing remarks from Judge Carr Davis.
Thank you, Your Honor. So I promise to keep this brief, but as everyone was talking, I was reminded of the saying by Dr. Maya Angelou that says, "I come as one, but I stand as 10,000." And what this means to me is that we are the beneficiaries of the struggles and the triumphs and the tragedies and the pains that our ancestors experienced. And so I know that this program is a success because of the work that people put into this program or put into this effort long before this program began. And so today, I'm honored to close and to come before you and to say thank you again on behalf of all criminal justice pursuers. I'm honored to share this space with organizations and people who found it not robbery to give of their time and their talent and their treasures and their resources in the pursuit of access to justice. These collaborations exemplify the very best of the criminal justice system. But let us not forget there were people who were underemployed and unemployed and who were impacted emotionally because they didn't have a driver's license and because they were under the cloak and the blanket of excessive fines and fees. So I would like to thank our partners, but most importantly, I'd like to thank all of the foot soldiers who started this work long before I was ever involved in this work. But most importantly, I'd like to thank our beloved community, the Durham community, who believed in us and believed that we could come together and do something to benefit the whole and benefit all of us. But people who believed that a brighter day was possible. So friends, until we collaborate again, until we celebrate again, I would just like to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. But I would also like to say that I welcome our next collaboration because in times such as these, we have so much work to do. So I look forward to us all joining together and celebrating again when we pursue justice again. Thank you.